Oh, hey there, everybody. How's your day coming along, everybody? I hope it's going well. I've had a fairly decent day today. There's a skate park being built in this house. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. I'm kind of excited about it. Tim is currently, well, he's not building it, but he has commissioned some official skate park builders to build a half pipe wonderland in this house. So the other skater in the house, is basically just me and Tim who skate here. I'm very excited because I've been known to make the ramp mine, as Tim puts it, because I tend to go ham on anything that I do. So really excited about it. Today I have a special guest. I have Salty Bear with me. Hello, Salty Bear.
Hey, Adam.
All right.
Finally.
Yeah.
Good to be here.
It's good to have you. So Salty's with me today. I know a couple people have been asking where you've been, so it's nice to have him back on the show.
Well, I'm not on a shelf anymore, that's for sure.
Listen. It's not. I didn't have you on.
What?
Okay.
We're here now.
Well, yeah.
Let's go on.
All right. Well, welcome back. Welcome back to the show. It's great to have you. You know what? I'll spin the UFO specifically for you. Okay, Salty, just for you. And there you go. Does that make you feel any better?
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Right on. So listen, today we're going to be talking about the Denver shooting. I'm sure a lot of you have heard about it. It's a pretty crazy story. Lots of different things that are going on with that. So we're going to talk about that. Then we're going to be talking about the contested 2020 election. So everybody's saying that it's going to be contested. Democrats are saying that Republicans are cheating. Republicans are saying Democrats are cheating. It's just like a back and forth. This whole thing, it's kind of ridiculous. And we're going to talk about that. And then we're going to talk about the last time that it was really contested. And it's actually rather interesting what I've uncovered. So we're going to get into that. Then we're going to talk about Florida being based. They have locked down their rules as far as being a rioter and destroying people's property and or hurting people. So that's interesting. And then we're going to talk about Xi Jinping essentially telling his troops to prepare for war. And now it's not. He straight up said that. So I mean, it's hard to. That's basically what they said. So I'm not really.
Confirmed.
What you can confirm? Salty confirms it.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, so before we do, let me grab my keyboard real quick. I just want to show everybody one thing. This is my website. You could check it out. And if you would like to see my videos, skating, all of the videos that I do on YouTube are also uploaded on there, so you can check them all out there. But you can actually donate to me directly if you'd like to, via PayPal or Bitcoin. But also I have a PO box here that you can send me things. So I have a physical PO box in case you feel like sending me anything. You're more than welcome to do that. UFOs are welcome. You noticed that I have the UFO still. Tim walked into the studio the other day and was like, "Oh hey, you did you get a new UFO?" And I was like,
if you want to send anything to Salty, just put attention to Salty. I can't believe you missed that.
Yeah, sorry. You can do attention, Salty, if you'd want. So wonderful. And sorry, I didn't mean to offend. But yes. So back to my story before I was rudely interrupted. Tim basically saw the UFO and was like, "Oh yeah, hey, did you get your own UFO?" And I said, "Yeah, no, that's the UFO." I saw some people in chat going, "Oh man, I hope I see the UFO on the desk." Well, it is officially still here. Wonderfully, Tim just kind of like said, "Oh," huh, and then continued walking. So I don't know if he was upset about it. I don't know if he even cares. I was a little sad on the inside because if he didn't know that the UFO is here, that means it confirms that he doesn't watch my show. So
I think it's mind games.
You think that's what it is?
Tim. Yeah. Hey Tim. We know your secret.
Well, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe he watches it, maybe he doesn't. It's not a big deal. All right, so let's get into this. First, we're going to be talking about this Denver shooting. Now, I have this article here. A security guard. See, now, right off the bat, He was hired as a security guard, but he wasn't actually a security guard. So, but they claim security guard claims self-defense in fatal shooting at Denver protest. The victim was identified as a U.S. Navy veteran. So I actually have a couple pictures that I am going to show you. They are a little graphic. It's not, there's no blood or anything, but it is what was kind of transpiring. So I'm going to show those in a little bit. I just kind of want to forewarn you that I am going to show them. But let's just read about this. A private security guard jailed on suspicion of murder. Well, suspicion, I mean, he murdered somebody. They straight up, we have pictures, there's videos. He pulled his gun out and shot the man. So it's a little weird. Jailed on murder.
Until proven guilty.
Yes, or proven to have murdered somebody on video. Anyway, so on suspicion of murder charges, claims he fatally shot a U.S. Navy veteran in self-defense during a weekend confrontation that erupted amid opposing protests by right and left-wing groups in Denver, according to his attorney. Matthew Doloff, 30, who was working as a bodyguard for local TV news crew, claims he feared for his life and opened fire when the alleged victim reached into his shirt, his lawyer Doug Richard told the Associated Press. He was doing what he was supposed to do being there, or what he was supposed to be doing there, Richard said of Doloff, who was hired to protect a KUSA TV news crew covering dueling protests on Saturday in a courtroom near the Denver Art Museum and just several blocks from the state capitol building. Lee Keltner, 49, was shot to death in the confrontation with Doloff, according to the Denver Office of Medical Examiner. Keltner's death was ruled a homicide. Here are the police officers approaching and apprehending what's his name? Doloff. Police raced to the scene of the shooting and immediately took Doloff into custody at gunpoint. Doloff is being held in jail pending the outcome of a homicide investigation, according to the Denver Police Department. So this goes on, and I have another article that actually talks about all this. So I want to get to that. This is the moment where Doloff was actually he got slapped for I guess he was trying to take the mace out of the other man's hand and got slapped away. So he was assaulted. Now, I'm not saying that this was right to assault. Now, there's many images here, and I only want to. I'm just going to show one more. This is when the victim sprayed him with mace, and in the videos you don't see him reaching for his pocket, or in the rest of these photos you don't see him reaching for his pocket. He slaps the guy away and then kind of starts backing off. And as soon as the dude gets slapped, the Doloff pulls his gun and shoots him. And it's just kind of it's hard to say, like, his defense is that he was it was self-defense. Well, it's like, okay, you got slapped for trying to take mace out of the dude's hand. Now, granted, I'm making assumptions. I just want to clarify that. I am definitely making an assumption that that's what he was doing. That's what it looks like, okay, from the pictures that I've seen. And the guy slapped him, backs away. He's backing away. And the other guy, they both back away from each other. And Doloff, as he backs away, pulls his gun and shoots him right there, dead. And the defendant, or the victim, was spraying his mace, and you can see it in this picture. So, to me, that's pretty clear. It was murder. He murdered him. He shot him dead. And this is the problem now. The alleged shooter. Okay, it was the shooter of a pro-Trump protester in Denver was not licensed as a security guard, and he has a history of criticizing Trump. So now, before I read that, just look at that. He wasn't even a security guard. He wasn't licensed in the state to be a security guard. That's actually what they say. And he has a history of criticizing Trump. So not only was it murder, it is biased. Like, he went there knowing that he already had issues.
Wanted to start a fight.
Essentially, that's what I believe. Like, it seemed like he wanted someone to come at him. And the videos, there was more than one people. There was multiple people here. Tempers were flaring, right? Tempers were definitely flaring in the air. And it's funny because, sorry, it's not funny at all. It's interesting that Doloff wasn't even part of the group that were fighting and yelling angrily at each other. There's countless videos of what happened here. And you see in some of the videos that the victim who got shot, let's see, drop his name again. I have it here in the other, Lee Keltner. Yes. So Lee Keltner was actually arguing with another man and kind of backed away himself. And as he backed away, he kind of goes off screen, and that's when you have to switch to the photographs to see what was going on off the screen of the video that I'm referring to, because he was in an argument with someone else, went to go off screen, and that's when Doloff seemed to have tried to grab the mace away from the guy, and the guy slapped him, like, you're not taking this mace, and Doloff just straight backed up, pulled his gun, and shot him. And it's kind of crazy that a lot of these, like ABC was saying that, security guard claims self-defense. It's like, how? You weren't, your life was not in danger. You got slapped because you were trying to take his mace. That doesn't mean you need to shoot him dead. He wasn't, he was not, his defense is that he was pulling something out of his pocket. But in all of the pictures I've seen, I have yet to see any of those motions. I saw him backing away from Doloff. I saw him, spraying mace at him in response to what seemed to be like him pulling a gun. Doloff was pulling a gun, so the guy was like, "I'm gonna mace you," and it was like this moment of it's crazy what's happened. So let's just let me read this article. Go ahead. You got something to say?
Oh, I was gonna say that you see that type of stuff a lot. It's just people who are angry who want to, be an agent provocateur. Is that how you pronounce
agent
it?
provocateur.
Like, yeah, someone who Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, just to make things happen. I think you nailed it. An agent provocateur. He went there. I mean, he wasn't a security. You know what? Let me finish reading this, because this kind of like drives it home as far as like he shouldn't have been there in the first place. He wasn't licensed. All right, let's see. The man accused of fatally shooting a conservative protester in Denver this weekend was not licensed as a security guard, despite working as one for a local news outlet. Matthew Doloff, 30, was arrested and charged this weekend in connection to shooting and killing Denver area hatter Lee Keltner, who was attending a Patriot rally in the city. Denver Department of Excise and Licenses confirms there is no record of an active licensed security guard now or ever for an individual named Matthew Doloff, or Doloff with two L's.
It's funny.
What is it?
Sorry, may I?
That's all right. Yeah.
Like, they labeled him a security guard because he had a job once, a security guard. So does that mean you get to be a model for the rest of your life?
Good point. Yep. Yeah.
All right.
Definitely.
Here we are.
Thank
90
you.
years old.
Appreciate that. I'm gonna be a really sexy 9-year-old, I guess, right? I don't know. Mm-hmm. That took a weird spin. Okay. So if he was operating as a security guard, he was in violation of the law. Oh, well, I mean, even if he wasn't a security guard, he violated the law seriously. 9 News hired Doloff as a security guard to accompany its team to the rally on Saturday. A private security guard who was hired by 9 News is the suspect detained by DPD. 9 News reported. It has been the practice of 9 News for a number of months to hire private security to accompany staff at protests. A Denver Department of Excise and License spokesperson said Doloff was breaking the law if he was in fact acting as a security guard, as there is no record of him for the department. Don't they have any sort of screening system for this kind of thing? You'd think that they would want to vet people that are going to be armed and protecting them. It's like, now 9 News is trying to...
There might be even like an entire organization around that.
Yeah. No, isn't there? I mean, as I was saying, you'd think that, like, 9 News is like, whoa. The blood's not on our hands. The security team said that they that it was a security guard. We hired them, which they do have a point, actually. If they call an actual security guard company, say, we would like to hire some security, send us, 3 security guards, that security company should should definitely vet whoever they're hiring to make sure they're not biased, that they're going to, hey, go protect us from a bunch of Trump supporters. Oh, okay, cool. And then secretly they're thinking, awesome, because I hate Trump supporters, and this is my chance to, kill one? Because that seems to be what happened. This is ridiculous. All right, let me keep reading.
It does.
So the Denver Post reported that Duluth also had critical social media posts regarding President Trump. Rumors spread across the internet after the shooting about Duluth's potential political affiliation, in part because of a reporting error by the Post that was corrected. While Duluth's social media does criticize President Donald Trump and includes photos of the 2012 Occupy Denver protests, he does not claim affiliation with any organization. Denver police on Saturday announced the shooting suspect had no affiliation with Antifa. A review of Duluth's alleged Facebook profiles shows he shared multiple Democracy Now! Articles and the Young Turks podcast in 2017, many of them reporting on Trump's alleged ties to Russia, which of course have been debunked many times over. His reported Facebook page has since focused on photos of farm animals and personal updates. Court shows that he had no previous criminal history besides traffic incidents. The Denver City Attorney's Office will weigh any additional criminal charges related to the defendant possibly operating as an unlicensed security guard once the Denver Police Department completes its homicide investigation. Ryan Lulby, a spokesperson for Denver City's Attorney's Office, said in a written statement, "The CAO is also working with the Denver Department of Excise and Licenses to weigh disciplinary action against the security guard company for hiring and deploying an unlicensed guard, one without a license, much less an armed endorsement." Exactly. He is currently being held without bond. Makes sense because he clearly shot the man dead. The shooting unfolded Saturday afternoon after an anti-communist patriot muster rally kicked off. "It's time we let these communist socialists know we've had enough." That's a quote. A description of the event stated, "Fight back, push back, time to take our country back," end quote. A Denver communist group responded to the news of the event by holding a counter-protest called the BLM Antifa Soup Drive. All right, so it's actually a cross soup drive between BLM and Antifa. So they are actually just being open about being one and the same.
They're not being open about it. But
yes, they are.
The connections are there.
I mean, if it's straight, they're coming out. Let me read this sentence again. A Denver communist group responded to the news of the event by holding a counter-protest, which is fine, and called it the BLM Antifa Soup Drive. So communist group claiming that, labeling it BLM and Antifa. Okay, let me just wrap my head around this. So what they're saying is the BLM movement is a mask that they're wearing, and Antifa is part of their communist movement. Now, obviously, I'm making a lot of assumptions here, but it seems to fit the narrative as far as what I'm seeing. I don't like it.
Yeah.
All right, let me continue. Here's another quote. "We scheduled our action after learning that the militia fascists had called a patriot muster against Black Lives Matter movement, anti-fascists, and Marxists." A spokesperson for the Denver Communists said, "That's us. Guilty as charged and happy to oblige with our presence." Wow. My goodness. Marxism. The victim,
a little bit much.
Yeah, I agree. The victim, Keltner, was identified by his mother on Facebook this weekend. She said, "My son Lee was at the Patriot rally today in Denver," and she posted on a Northeast Arkansas Tea Party Facebook group. "He was murdered because he backed the police." Yeah, that's why they were there. They weren't there to go up against, how did they put it here? The schedule, a militia fascist had been called a muster against Black Lives Matter movement. That's not what they were there for. They were there to support the police department and to show their support for America and the president. So it seems that everyone seems to just pick whatever narrative they want and just run with that. I am rather sick of that. I don't want this to continue. We have to get our facts straight. We need to get together and learn what the truth of the matter is. A lot of people don't want to, really. It just reminds me of that condescending smile that I see a lot of Democrats using nowadays. Kamala Harris did it countless times. I'm speaking. I got you. Yeah, that's right. Also known as I'm better than you and I know better than you and what I say is right and whatever you say is wrong. And that condescension is gross. It's sickening. I don't look at people and go, I know better than you. I always know that there's going to be someone out there that knows more than me. Always. There's always the case. No one can say that they know the most. No one, ever. And I will always try to learn more. But when you start acting like you know everything, it's a gross look. It's not a good look on anyone. And I feel like a lot of these people do that on both sides of the aisle are starting to. I'm not saying that it's one-sided. A lot of people are doing this. And I'm sick of it. Go ahead. What were you going to add?
No, it's a slippery slope too. You don't know you've gone too far down a path until it's already too late.
Yep, exactly. I agree. So that's so this all just happened over the weekend. Now, this is a man's life has been taken. How many people need to die, before we realize that this is people trying to keep us divided. And actually this kind of goes perfectly into what our next segment is, which is the contested 2020 election. So, I mean, I'll admit it myself. I think that there's fraud about. I think this mail-in voting, ballot harvesting, we've seen it. People are being sent. There was one news article about someone that received 5 ballots all to themselves. 5 ballots for one person. How does that make any sense? Why is that the case?
Their past and future selves, of course.
Precisely. Yeah. There it is. Well, that's 3, right? Past, present, and future, and then alternate dimension, and then dead.
Ooh, yeah. Bizarro
world. Yeah, maybe. So anyway, let's get into this. This is an article from the AP. What happens if the U.S. election is contested? If. Right, that's a big if. Should be in capitals. And it's got a really interesting, I actually have them. I'll just show you these. These are images. It says key dates between vote and inauguration. So we have November 3rd, we got election day, right? And then from November 3rd or 4th to the 23rd, deadlines vary by state to receive absentee and overseas ballots from voters unable to vote in person. November 5th to December 12th, deadlines vary by state to certify election results, including for president and vice president, to determine how state electors will vote. And then December 14th, state electors cast their ballots with the candidate with 270 or more votes wins. So then we have January 6th, a joint session of Congress convenes with Vice President Mike Pence presiding to certify results. January 20th, the president and vice president are sworn in. So now we have settling an unsettled election. If the presidential election is not decided when the state-chosen electors meet December 14th to cast their electoral votes, the Constitution and federal law outline a procedure to ensure a president and vice president take office. So we got, I'm reading this in order, essentially. All right, we got Americans vote, then their votes are tallied. Then electors meet December 14th to vote. And then it has a split in the path. Does a candidate have 270 or more electoral votes? If it's yes, the candidate elected and sworn in on January 20th. And if not, then it continues. Then, of course, the president becomes the House of Representatives. The president is voted in by the House of Representatives. They vote, 1 per state. 26 is needed to win. And then the vice president is chosen by the Senate. Same thing, 1 vote per senator, 51 is needed to elect. So just basically the majority. So then it continues. Did the candidate get at least 26 votes for presidency? If yes, the candidate is elected. And the same goes for the vice president. Did they get the majority? Yes, then it gets elected. So then if it's a no for the president, and then asks, has the VP-elect been chosen? If yes, the VP-elect acts as president until the president is elected. And if not, the Speaker of the House or President pro tempore of the Senate, if Speaker is unable, acts as president until the president is elected. And then if the vice president doesn't get it, then the Senate continues until the vice president is elected. So does that mean the Senate becomes? See, this is all a little scary to me because all I can think is Speaker Pelosi loves her power and is super crazy to me. Like, she scares me. I don't know about you, but Nancy Pelosi, every time I see Nancy Pelosi, oof.
She's terrifying. She
She
looks
is.
like she's made of wax.
I know. She does seem like she is made of wax. If for those who don't know, this is Salty Bear with me today. Thank you for joining me again. Yeah, it
So
does
what
seem
about
like.
the
Go ahead.
1876 election, right?
Right. So I have this article here. This is the last time a contested presidential election nearly tore the country apart. This is crazy. All right. This is a long article. So I'm going to try to sum it up. Now, I know you've read it also, Salty, so you can help me through this as well.
Sure. You want me to read for you?
Yeah, you want to read it? That's fine. We can. I'll just have it posted up for you. So listen, just to give you a little bit of context. So this election was after the Civil War. Okay, so the country, it was divided. We were fighting. We just ended the war. It's in the 1870s.
Grant was just, finished. He had just been elected.
Yep. Well, he was elected again in 1872, I believe. And then, so come 1877, there's a new election coming, and it's contested. There's all sorts of stuff that's going on about this, and let me just get. So here, I'm just going to read this article, this paragraph here. A tense run up to the 1876 election. All right, the solid popular majority, including ex-slaves in the South, protected by the actual or threatened presence of federal troops, that had re-elected Civil War hero Ulysses S. Grant in 1872 had been weakened by a sustained economic depression, systemic corruption, and Southern white resistance, and Northern white fatigue with Reconstruction. The midterm election... Yeah, go ahead.
Which was basically the Reconstruction after the Civil War, where you
Correct.
got black people who are getting enforced rights throughout America.
Right. They're fighting it.
The army is terrifying because they are both the oppressor and the people allowing them to have those rights.
That's a good point. So we have, the government essentially running thin on trying to maintain and enforce the fact that the black population were free. And you gotta recognize it. And the South was pissed. They were like, we just lost all of our monetary value, which is so messed up to think about, but that's true. That's where they were at. So they're sitting there freaking out, trying to. I mean, they already lost the war, right? So this is coming out of the war, trying to basically figure out how to deal with it. So then we got the midterm elections of 1874, produced an epochal 94-seat swing in House seats. There were only 293 seats at the time towards Democrats, who won the chamber, even as redemption movements aimed at restoring white political power, often behind ex-Confederate leaders, made big gains in the South. That's right. We're talking about the Democrats right now.
Yeah, I can't stress it enough that the Democrats used to be the racist people, right? Like, people
wait.
forget that.
Did you say used to be? I don't know if you've heard Biden speak lately or throughout his entire political office life. He is awfully racist. Those sentences don't go away. You clearly have been. I'm talking directly to you, Joe Biden. You are clearly a racist. You clearly think other races are lesser than you, which is a terrible thing to think. I think you're a ridiculous person for thinking that. And I think the dementia is increasing in him, and it's only a matter of time before he starts slipping more and more, saying weird things, like saying if you don't vote for him, you ain't black. Like, what is that? Or asking someone, calling you out for being on drugs, and you're running for president. The only thing you should say is, go ahead, test me. And you say, how dare you ask me that? What are you, a junkie? It's like,
And
What?
even I think it's weird when people run their hands on my hairy legs.
I mean, you do have soft legs.
I do, but you know what?
It's true.
Like, I still don't like it when you touch them.
Well, that's not what you tell me off camera. Anyway. Okay, let's stay on subject here though. Let's stay on subject. So, let's see. So, the Democrats just basically retook the House. Okay? They're reeling. They're pissed, right? So, now we get so tell me about this. You know a little bit more. You were reading this also.
Yeah. So basically, Grant is no longer an option, and you've got two new people coming in, and everybody's tired of Reconstruction and the undermining of civil rights as well.
Yeah.
And things were just coming to a head. And then you have basically the Republicans and the Democrats in a deadlocked race. And because the actual race, like the army was broke at the time and defunded, there wasn't as much protection over voting booths, right? So a
Right.
lot of people who would have voted couldn't because they were being bullied away and beaten and people died, right? Like this is,
Wait a minute. So
and
you're saying people that supported the Democrats in the South, the people that were the racists that wanted to maintain segregation and maintain the way it used to be, were beating up people and preventing them from scaring them into being proud of their country and voting the way they wanted to. That sounds awfully familiar.
yeah, it does ring a bell.
That
Huh.
sounds really familiar, doesn't it? Almost
Well,
like
let's keep going.
Antifa. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, please,
Yeah.
please continue.
So as all that went out, at the end of it, what was left was a deadlock, right?
Yeah.
So what we had was we had a bunch of beat up Americans. Some people died. It wasn't fun. And by the way, I'm a stuffed bear, not a historian. So take credit with my Made in America sticker. So basically, what it had to end in is basically instead of violence, two groups had to come together and talk about what was going to happen next because there wasn't the protections that we have in place now, right?
Yeah.
This was the creation of those protections that allowed people to go and vote without being harassed or threatened.
Yeah.
But beyond that, the Electoral Commission was housed by a magistrate, which is sort of head cheese, right?
Okay.
And who do you think would be the head cheese this time around?
Oh man, who would be the head cheese? I mean, it can't be
Would it be
Trump.
Pelosi?
I that scares me because it says I read about the magistrate specifically. It says bipartisan. It must be whoever becomes the magistrate needs to be bipartisan, and that is certainly not Pelosi. Ripping up the State of the Union speech clearly is against Trump, calling the coronavirus the Trump virus, which is just bonkers. She's got TDS to the max. So how is she supposed to be the magistrate? No, there's no way.
Well, who does the American people trust enough to do something like that?
I mean, don't you think that that's kind of what SCOTUS does? That's what the Supreme Court's supposed to do. They're supposed to be unbiased. They're supposed to be interpret the law instead of make policy. So look back at the 2000
Wow.
election, right?
I think you're right.
Look at the 2000 election. They called it. They were like, Florida, you've had enough time. That's it. We're done. Stop. We're going to call it right now. And then boom. And they called it, and Al Gore lost, and George Bush won, and that was it. So now, going
now
forward,
this whole Supreme Court justice
Yep.
nomination gets even more heated. No
absolutely.
wonder.
That's why
Wow.
they're going so hard against her. It's not even they've been saying like, man, now the Republicans are trying to pack the court. It's like, what? You're confusing filling a seat in a Supreme Court for the Supreme Court when it's in a contested year. Everybody agrees that this election is going to be contested. This is going to be a really serious election. Okay. So we can't have a tie. We can't have 4-4. We need to fill the seat. So everyone votes no matter what. That's what justices do. They make a decision and the majority rules. period. The Supreme Court of the land. Okay, that's what it is. The Supreme Court of the United States. Okay, that's what happened in 2000. So we don't have a magistrate nowadays. There's no magistrate. So who would be the magistrate? Who would be the bipartisan decision maker when it always comes down to that final decision? The Supreme Court. No wonder they're trying to ruin and slander Amy, because she's a boss and she's got conservative values. They're like, oh no, if they win, if they put her in, then we don't have a majority. Also known as, we don't have the power anymore, the control anymore that we clearly want. They're being blatant about it. All right. And it's really annoying. All right. Let's get back to the 1877 election. So
Sure.
now they have a compromise, right?
Mm-hmm.
So basically, tell us about the compromise.
So the Compromise of 1877. So ultimately, there's a lot that went into it, but the really kind of weird part about this that like drew me into it was, so I'm just going to start reading. There are varying accounts why the Compromise of 1877 worked. Some historians claimed that there was a broader commitment made by the Wormley Conference participants to federal support for capitalist development of the South. But in any event, Hayes kept his end of the bargain on Reconstruction. So the long and the short of it, is that the idea is that what came out of it was, fine, we'll give you the presidency, but we want to be able to rule the South however we want, right? And the way that worked was white people kind of got to go back to the way things were, right? Where it was this unwritten good old boy game.
Yeah.
Where, there were white, and black water fountains, right? This was literally the beginning of Jim Crow.
It even says it right here.
Yeah, this was what started Jim Crow in the United States, or at least this is what this article claims.
Yeah.
And like, I could totally see it. And to think that something like that could come out of this election is shocking.
Well, and it's interesting too, because it almost feels like they're trying to bring back segregation right now. California is trying to make it legal to discriminate so that they can make it diverse. But in reality, they're actually making it so that people can be racist legally and discriminate against specific people. Now, I'm not adding race into that, but that is literally in the bill, is that they can choose whatever race they want to pick. Now, they've got these glasses on with huge blinders on that they can't see past their own agenda. They're like, this is the way. And they're not seeing the negative aspects to that, how it's actually creating an inverse effect. If you cater to somebody just because of the color of their skin, you're taking away their, their ability
treating them differently.
To prove themselves.
You're treating them differently than
correct.
You. Right?
Yes, and you're basically saying you're less. You are less than, and you need help. So we're going to give you more help because you are less than these other people. That's them declaring it, and that's messed up. They are literally cloaking this racism through a veil of virtue, and it is disgusting. All right, and a lot of these people are doing it now. Back in 1877, it wasn't cloaked. They were very obviously saying it. We don't care. We want segregation. We want separate everything because you took away all these things. So let's bring in Jim Crow laws. That's what the Democrats did back then. They're continuing it today with this veil on. All right, convincing people that it's for the best. Now they've got everyone thinking like, oh yeah, this is for the best. This is the way it should be.
Same Democratic Party, same new coat of paint.
Boom, exactly. All right, so now we have the lessons of 1876. Now I'm just going to read this. All right, what does the 1876 experience teach us about potentially contested 2020 election outcome? The first lesson is that the main two safeguards of the integrity of our presidential election are the right to vote without intimidation or ballot tampering and the clear and uncontested clarification of a winner. Right there. It is our right to vote without intimidation. We got Trump supporters being shot and killed. This thing that happened last Saturday, that's not the first Trump supporter that's been killed. It's not the second one that's been killed. Man, wearing a Trump hat now, wearing a MAGA hat, Salty, I got to give it up to you. You're wearing that MAGA beanie? I mean, that's my MAGA
Gotta
beanie.
represent.
I haven't worn it in a while, but you wear that in public.
Like you.
Props to you, because now to even wear a hat or a shirt supporting your president, who is the president. I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican. He is the president. He is your president. If you're American, period. Deal with that. All right. You can't even do that. It's, are you supporting the president? You're offending all these other people that are offended. It's like, God, just because you're offended doesn't mean you're right. Okay. That it's so frustrating.
The problem with being offended is that people just move the goalpost on you.
Yep, you're right.
The moment that you capitulate, they will move the goalpost to somewhere else, and then what you're doing is signing over everything that you cared about. And it's a tactic, right? You talked about Saul Alinsky before.
Intimidation. That's what it
Rules
is.
For radicals.
They're intimidating people. Yes, they're intimidating people. Yeah. Go.
And accuse your enemy of what you're currently guilty of.
Oh, and that is ridiculous. Man, every single time the Democrats open their mouth, they're saying what I'm thinking that they're doing, and they're claiming other people are doing it. It's just like, how obvious
it's because
is it?
It works.
I don't get it. I don't understand why it works. How does it work so easily? How are people that clueless? I just don't understand.
Because people are busy. Right? Like they've got so much time in their lives that is dedicated to going to or from work or trying to make enough money to survive.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, you're exhausted, you're beat. You probably work a retail job, and then at the end of it, you got to listen to garbage, and you don't have time to do research.
Yep,
you're
right.
The loudest voices first and what's popular, because ultimately you want to stick in the herd.
Yep. There it is. All right, let's continue on here. The second lesson is how hazy the system remains for resolution of electoral college disputes. The federal courts and the same kind of majority Republican-appointed SCOTUS that proved decisive, the decision in 2000 might ultimately brought in to adjudicate dispute resolutions procedures with the unprecedented consequences. That's what I was talking about earlier, about the SCOTUS may being the magistrate of the now, because back in the day they would have one person who would be the magistrate, where now we don't have that one person. No one person could be, unbiased that well.
I don't think Americans will trust even the Supreme Court, especially right now. I think that it'll I wonder if there's laws that'll take it even above it. Like, who decides if the Supreme Court isn't trusted by the American populace?
That's a good point. I mean,
the army?
I don't know. Well, that goes into this third lesson. Check this out. The third lesson is how useful it is to have a chief magistrate in place during a presidential election disputes who is committed to due process and bipartisan input. Yes, President Grant wanted Hayes to win in 1876, but not if it risked violence. And in fact, many of Grant's stalwart Republican backers preferred a Democratic administration and an 1880 comeback to a Hayes presidency. This year, of course, the president is one of the contending parties and one vastly more likely to produce a constitutional crisis by challenging perfectly valid mail ballots and preferably reasonable, if extended, count. Oh, this doesn't seem biased at all, does it? Who's going to be a fair arbiter in that scenario? Well, I'll tell you who. You just said it. The military. Who else? The people? The people would have already spoken. It's the votes. That's how we speak. So if the military sides with the president, which honestly I think that they would, that's going to be the deciding factor. What do we choose? Like, if the military said, we're going to side with President Trump, he's defended us. Biden called us stupid bastards. No joke. He straight up said, he called our troops in a...
Clap, you stupid bastard.
That's what he said. Heard it. Yeah. And then he was like, what, are you guys all slow here? Because you didn't clap? Because you didn't get my joke or my...
My soundbite is more important than my presence here.
Gosh.
Honoring you doing things
Joe Biden
could potentially save American lives.
Right. Craziness. The fourth and arguably most important lesson of the 1876 is that compromise resolution of a contested election requires, well, a potential compromise. Yes, Southern black voters and some Democrats starved for office had reason to oppose the compromise in 1877, but partially because the wounds of the Civil War were so recent, and partially because powerful economic interests wanted an end to the struggle for and against racial justice. The powers that be in both parties found it easy to make a deal. It offered Republicans 4 more years in power and Democrats long-term hegemony in the South, although some Republicans, including Hayes, erroneously believed they could build a Southern GOP based on support from reasonable white Southerners. Yeah, so no wonder they opposed it, though, and that's why the Democrats were like, yeah, we're good with this because we can implement the laws that we can segregate us from. They were basically just making the Jim Crow laws, like you said. That was the beginning of the Jim Crow laws, right there. It was the North going, look, we don't want people dying, we don't want you intimidating people to vote. Let's let everybody vote, but please, let's do a compromise. You can make some rules for yourself, which didn't end in the South. I mean, it was mostly in the South, but it became. Yeah, go ahead.
It's internalized, and ultimately, this is something that we are going to just watch happen over and over again if we don't learn from it.
Yep, absolutely.
And we're in 2020. We're smarter than this.
I know.
And it's funny because this article is so well written.
Yes, it is.
It is then just off by a hair, right? It doesn't see its own hypocrisy. And I know
you're right.
That's the whole world right now.
You nailed it. You're right. That's especially the Democrats. And that's really what it's shining a light on. It's the Democrats here. They're trying to smudge it a little bit towards bias for Democrats when, oh no, the Democrats were the racist ones. They're the ones that wanted the Jim Crow laws. They're the ones right now trying to push for the end of civil rights, affirmative action. They're the ones with that on the bill. California. It's a state level thing. It's not federal, of course, but why would California, who's supposed to be on the forefront of, being racially justified and equal, that's not equal, treating people different. Oxford, a couple months back, they said if you're a black student and you're affected by what's going on, you don't have to do as much work. Okay, so that means that future business owners or CEOs that are hiring people from Oxford go, oh, you didn't work as hard. Has nothing to do with your race here. I just know that every other race that went to Oxford worked harder and got the degree, and you didn't have to work as hard. So they're actually implementing rules that are ruining it for these minorities. They're making it harder for them to prove themselves. I think everyone's equal. I think everyone can push as hard as they want to do whatever they want to do in life. If they want to go to college, if they want to become president, anyone can be president. Obviously, you have to be born in America to be doing so, but anybody who's born here can become president. I don't care what race you are, what color your skin is. Doesn't matter. What gender you are. Anyone can become president. You just have to wish and work for it. Period. Done. Conversation over. But when someone starts going, oh, you're lesser, so you don't have to work as hard, that shows. And there might be one person who goes, oh, great, I don't have to work as hard. Awesome. Well, for every one person who's saying that, I think there's 3 to 4 others that are going, well, what about me? I work my ass off. All right. And I am equal to everyone else. So for you saying that to them, you're telling me I'm not equal. That's what I see. And I think that's ridiculous. It's a smack in the face. It's smacking him in the face going, you're lesser. Oh yeah, I don't care about all you other people that think that they're equal. I'm telling you, you're not. It's like the condescension there. What?
It feels like a giant real-time Stanford prison experiment.
Yep.
Right? Have you ever heard of that?
No, what is it? Tell us about it.
The Stanford prison experiment was this 1971 study where they had a group of college students be the inmates and the wardens in a prison. And it is horrifying and fascinating to watch what happens to people when they are given systemic imbalances between other human beings, right? So simply by
Interesting.
being made warden and being a fellow college student, these kids were subjecting the prisoners to hazing, right? They were actually torturing them by the end of it, and they had to
Jeez.
stop the experiment, right? And like that's kind of the weird thing about human psychology is that if you kind of codify sort of this disparity between people, right, which is what America is supposed to be the experiment to get away, from that, you start to see these awful things emerge.
Yeah. Jeez. That's frightening. All right, so that's I mean, we only time will tell what's going to happen with this election. Obviously, there's people on either sides thinking they're right. Obviously there's people that are on both sides that think the other side's cheating. I, of course, am voting for Trump. I am registered here in Maryland. So at least my paperwork has been sent in. That's all I can do. I registered as soon as I moved here because I can't wait to vote. I think this is the most important election of my lifetime.
Oh, it is. And
Period.
mine too. I can't vote, but I need chat to vote for me. And smash that like button.
You heard it here. Salty Bear has spoken. Smash that like button. It's the only thing we can do. All right, let's move on. I want to talk about Florida here. This is Florida is cracking down. This is from the DC Patriot. All right, this is the Florida governor introduced a tough new law to protect police and punish rioters. This is something that I feel was needed a long time ago. The governor of a critical battleground state has shown what true leadership is with a new legislation to crack down on Democrat-sanctioned rioters and to protect police officers. In a strong statement that Florida is not going to tolerate the sort of organized mayhem from criminal rioters that have plagued other areas, mostly the Pacific Northwest, a series of tough new measures have been introduced by Governor Ron DeSantis. Speaking at the Polk County Sheriff Office, DeSantis made it clear that Florida is not New York, Portland, or Seattle, and that those engaging in the peaceful protests that have terrorized helpless citizens elsewhere can expect to be hit with severe penalties. The Combating Violence, Disorder, and Looting and Law Enforcement Protections Act calls for stiff penalties against those harassing citizens, destroying property, and striking law enforcement officers, including with projectiles. Now, I actually have. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. Here we go. So this is it right here. The Combating Violence, Disorder, and Looting and Law Enforcement Protection Act. So number one is new criminal offenses to combat rioting, looting, and violence, and I'll read them here for you. A, prohibition on violent or disorderly assemblies. Third-degree felony when 7 or more persons are involved in an assembly and cause damage to property or injury to other persons. B, prohibition on obstructing roadways. Third-degree felony to obstruct traffic during an unpermitted protest, demonstration, or violent or disorderly assembly. The driver is not liable for injury or death caused if fleeing from safety of the mob. C, prohibition on destroying or toppling monuments. Second-degree felony to destroy public property during a violent or disorderly assembly. D, prohibition on harassment in public accommodations. First-degree misdemeanor for a participant in a violent or disorderly assembly to harass or intimidate a person at a public accommodation, such as a restaurant. E, RICO liability. RICO liability attaches to anyone who organizes or funds a violent or disorderly assembly. That's a pretty big one right there.
Oh my goodness. That is not just pretty big. That's huge.
No, you're absolutely right. That's actually huge because what's that saying, if someone is funding the violent or disorderly assembly, or maybe, paying their bail to get them out.
Soup kitchens for Black Lives Matter and Antifa?
Granted, that was Colorado. Now, this is specific to Florida, okay?
I know, but
I mean, right. I mean, Florida is definitely a little more specific here. So let's see here. I'm going to keep reading, though. That is huge. Number 2 on the list is increased penalties. A, mandatory minimum jail sentence. Striking a law enforcement officer, including with a projectile, during a violent or disorderly assembly equals 6-month mandatory minimum jail sentence. That means they can't get bailed out really quickly. They can't just be released back into general public because there's a minimum. You're in there. If you strike a police officer or throw something at them, it's a felony. It already was a felony. But to be just released back out, like that's what's happening out there. All right, and then B, offense enhancements. Offense or a sentence enhancements for 1, throwing an object during a violent or disorderly assembly that strikes a civilian or law enforcement officer. 2, assault and battery of a law enforcement officer during a violent or disorderly assembly. And 3, participation in a violent or disorderly assembly by an individual from another state. So if you travel to Florida thinking that you're going to join in on some Antifa activities, you're in for some hurt. And then we got the third one on the list.
Cross those state lines.
Yep, exactly. Citizen and taxpayer protection measures. A, no, quote, defund the police, unquote, permitted. Prohibits state grants or aid to any local government that slashes the budget for law enforcement services. B, victim compensation. Waives sovereign immunity to allow a victim of a crime related to a violent or disorderly assembly to sue local government for damages where the local government is grossly negligent in protecting persons or property. C, government employment benefits / benefits. Terminates state benefits and makes anyone ineligible for employment by state and local government if convicted of participating in a violent or disorderly assembly. And D, bail. No bond or bail until first appearance in court if charged with a crime related to participating in a violent or disorderly assembly. A rebuttal presumption against bond or bail after the first appearance. Now, those last 4 are a little...
iffy. I think...
I am a little apprehensive to say I like those because I don't know if I necessarily agree with those. This is borderline getting on the authoritarian side of things, and I don't like that. Okay? You know, there's now I don't the first half of that. I'm like, all right, this seems legitimate. You know, they're protecting basically everything that's gone on in the past. All these riots, all these burning down buildings, ripping down statues, blocking and breaking into cars that are just trying to go home. They yelling at people walking out of the White House. An old couple screaming at senators, like all these crazy things that I've seen that have happened over the past few months. A lot of this would have prevented that. Look, I'm all about protesting. Protest. It is in our Constitution that we are allowed to protest, okay? Peacefully. Protesting is allowed. Legally, you can peacefully protest all day long, whatever you want. But getting in people's faces while they're trying to work, just go out and eat at a restaurant, which we've seen in, Texas, in Houston, they were doing that. I think in Philadelphia. It's countless different places we've seen this. People are just antagonizing people. And what is that doing? We talked about it. They were doing that back in 1876.
Yeah.
If you want to have, like the black people free, we're going to go beat you up. That's what they were doing back then. If you don't agree with us, if you think that the North won and the North is on the right side, we're going to intimidate you and bully you. And that's exactly what we're seeing now.
Well,
that's what they're doing.
They intimidated and bullied their way into a constitutional crisis where then they compromised to get Jim Crow laws so that they could have it as normal, so that they could continue doing whatever the hell they wanted in the first place. Right.
And that is exactly happening again right now.
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing,
different coat of paint.
You got Pelosi who's introducing these bills, the coronavirus bills, with $800 billion that have nothing to do with coronavirus. Well, we got to compromise. And President Trump is like, no, we're not going to just pass bills that are for coronavirus that have all this extra fluff.
Have you ever tried to read a bill?
No, they're 700, huge. 800 pages long. What happened to just simple law? Boom.
It's because you can't twist it legally as easily when you are direct.
That should be a law. All laws need to be direct.
I
Yeah,
I'd vote for you.
you know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yeah, I agree. Like that should be like the first, like at least like top 10 laws.
All
I'm
right,
thinking.
so we are going way over right now. So I want to move forward. I definitely wanted to read those out to you because that's happening in Florida. You know, Florida is actually cracking down, and that Polk County, the sheriff straight up said like, don't come to Polk County. Like our citizens are armed, and if you break into
Yeah.
their house, I have Castle Doctrine. I'm fully letting them know that they are armed and they will defend themselves, and they're for it.
Go chasing waterfalls.
Yeah. Right. So, all right. So let's move on to the next subject. We got Xi Jinping tells Chinese Marines to focus on preparing to go to war during a
good.
military base visit. Yeah, that's not frightening at all, is it? My goodness.
No, I mean that just sounds like posturing, right?
Right, yeah. So let's I'm just going to read it. Well, here's some bullet points. The Chinese president told Marines that they have an important responsibility to safeguard the country's territory, sovereignty, and maritime interest. Xi also went to Shangtao, where he praised Chinese people living overseas for the contributions to the nation's reforms. Oh my. Let's read about it. President Xi Jinping spent the second day of his Guangdong tour visiting a military base where he called on Marines to improve combat readiness and stay vigilant. He also toured Shantao, a hometown of many overseas Chinese, on Tuesday. The president will take part in celebrations to mark the 40th anniversary of the Shenzhen Special Economic Zone on Wednesday. At the military base near Shantao, near the east of the province, Xi told Marines they should aim to be multifunctional, rapid response, all-weather and region fighting force. You should focus your mind and energy on preparing to go to war and stay highly vigilant, Xi said, according to a state broadcaster, CCTV. This is not frightening at all, is it?
No.
Marines have many different missions, and the demands on you will vary, he said, such as should you base your training on the need to go into battle and raise your training standards and combat abilities. Here are some of the Chinese Marines. This is from 2006.
So they're much bigger by now.
Maybe they are, yeah. Maybe they've grown up. Xi, who is also chairman of the Central Military Commission, what a surprise, told the Marines that they should shoulder the important responsibility of safeguarding Chinese territory and sovereignty, the country's maritime interest, and its interests overseas. Added that. That's interesting. Veiled references to Beijing's claim to Taiwan and the South China Sea. That right there is where it scares me.
Yep.
Because their claim, South China Sea is international waters to everyone but China. And America's, they've got ships there. Australia,
Weren't you saying that's kind of their foreign policy for space too the other day?
That's true. You know, they are trying to claim space is China. They're not saying it. They haven't come out and been like the moon is ours now, but the international waters law, maritime law, is essentially what we've got going on in space. Now, we have China's on the moon right now. I don't know if you know this. They have actually sent a rover on the far side of the moon. We don't know what they're doing because we can't see what's going on over there. They've set up satellite system that they can communicate with the far side of the moon. We can't do that. So we don't even know what they're doing out there. Okay. And now they're telling their Marines, look, you got to be prepared to protect our sovereignty and our interests overseas, and their maritime interests. Maritime interests. So what? You're trying to prep to go to war for the South China Sea, or is it bigger than that? This kind of stuff makes me nervous. And I'm looking around, and I see this article. This is from the Department of Justice today. Oh no, this is This is from today. The Department of Justice forecasts an increase in counter unmanned aerial systems, protection activities, and criminal enforcement acts. Okay, so this talks about this. This is actually quite a long article, so I'm not going to read it. I'm just going to tell you kind of what it's about. They're anticipating an increase of drone activity. All right, and I want to make sure they're prepped and ready in case drone attacks hit. Unmanned aerial systems come into play. What is going on? Where are we going? People are talking about civil war, contested elections. China is trying to beat us in the space race, but now they're potentially prepping for war. What is going on? I honestly I have no idea.
So I want to point out in the Business Insider article that Xi stated that he wants to achieve his goal of national rejuvenation.
Oh goodness.
That sound familiar to you?
I got it right here. Xi finished Shantou in the afternoon, where he said China would achieve its goal of national rejuvenation despite the challenges it faces. All right, so I had a couple experts, and one of them was her name was Nami, and she basically told me about what their grand plan is. They want the entire globe under their control, essentially. They want to control everything.
Wow.
They think that they have the right way of doing things. They think communism is the way. CCP is the right way to move forward. Not have liberties, not have freedom like we have in America.
None of those pesky things
right.
of the plebs.
right, exactly. Well, they want it. They want to take it. This line scares me. They said that he said that they would achieve its goal of national rejuvenation. Yeah. Okay. National rejuvenation to them is the entire globe. Okay.
So if the Democrats win, like, they're going to make China great again?
Well, they straight up said like, we got to work with China. Like, instead of no. It's like they want to work for China. Trump wants to work with China. That's the difference. He recognizes their threat. He understands. He has a degree in economics. He knows how to be a businessman, and we need that going up against China, because we can't just sell out to China like a certain couple presidents in the past couple years. I'm not to name names, but one of them is running for president right now. Yeah, I'm talking about Joe Biden. I'll name it. I don't even care. He straight up said it. He said, "Yeah, we got to work with them. I'll bring back the TPP." He said it right when he gets back in office. The TPP locked us in. He's trying to bring back green energy. He's trying to say that we need green energy and we're going to get off fossil fuels. But the TPP itself says that we can't get off of it, and we have to buy oil from Pacific countries. And if we stop buying oil from them, they can sue us, American citizens. Joe Biden wants to bring the TPP back. What? So everything he's saying, I don't believe a word that man says. He flip-flops here and there, the whole fracking thing. Look, I'm an environmentalist. I'm all for the environment. I would love to move towards green energy, but I also understand that we have a system in place that we can't just shut down fossil fuels. It's a long process, and actually, America is on the leading edge of leading the world towards what green energy could be. Granted, there are some countries in Europe that are able to do it, but they're significantly smaller. Significantly smaller, okay? We can't compare it to the same. We're the United States, all right? The EU is all the different countries. So when you compare, Denmark, because I think, and Spain might have gone fully green energy or carbon zero, I guess. You can't compare them. We're different, all right? But the bottom line is Biden wants to sell us back to China. That got that China money. Look at his son, Hunter. He's got a seat on the board with a $1 billion company. Got billions of dollars. Then some Russia mayor or something paid him a couple $1 million. Like, and then the whole Ukraine thing. Let's not even get into that. But it's just like, come on. Anyway, I don't even want to talk about Biden anymore. He frustrates me. And Xi trying to go to war with everybody. I don't want to go to war. I don't want anyone to go to war. Go ahead. What were we gonna say?
Even if you look at Xi, right? Like, so even if even if this article is overblowing it and he was just taken out of context, right?
Yeah.
What he's saying is that basically, let's make China great again.
Yeah.
Like,
basically.
That's it. Right? Like, I mean, that's what what was it? National rejuvenation.
Yeah.
Right? Like, let's make China great again. That's something that Trump has been absolutely lambasted for. And that's just a campaign slogan that can date back to I think before Nixon, right? Like,
I think
and the
I don't
funny
know who
thing,
first said it. I know Reagan said it. I know Bill Clinton said it in 92. I know Bill Clinton
yeah,
said it again in 2008 trying to get Hillary elected, which of course Hillary then called it, racist, and now it's this whole racist thing, make America great again. It's like there's nothing wrong with that.
yeah. So
What's wrong with making America great again?
even if you think that this article is complete garbage,
Yeah.
right, and it's being taken out of context, this guy has got the same message as President Trump.
That's true. That's a good point. That's kind of funny. He's trying to make China great again because
Yeah.
of all the sanctions probably President Trump put in place because we're trying, they're like, "Oh man, we're no longer producing all of the world's goods anymore." I mean, a lot has changed in the past year. Granted,
Yeah.
COVID has shifted it all up, so, who knows, but man. All right, so we are really running over on time, so I'm going to get into some of these here super chats, but before I do, please smash that like button, everybody. I really appreciate it. If you do, it really helps me. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. That would be fantastic. Hit the little notification bell down below. You can also become a member and support my channel, and you can check out my website where you can give me a PayPal, Bitcoins, whatever, support me directly. And also you can send me physical stuff if you'd like. I have a PO box that you can actually send me things, whatever you want. If you built me something cool for my studio, maybe I'll put it up on the shelf behind me. I am going to build a new backdrop for Salty or whatever guests that I do have. And I'm going to have a center camera. So I'm going to be, see me and the guests at the same time. So I'm still going to rearrange some of my my studio a little bit. So I'm going to be working on that. But feel free to send me whatever you'd like. And yeah, thank you very much. So let's get into some of these here super chats. Robert Weil says, hope you had the chance to check out Last Ship. It's about a virus old that was trapped in the Arctic. It gets called the Red Flu. You will love it. Be blessed. Thank you very much, Wiles. Is that a true story or is that a movie or I don't know what that is. The Last Ship. Interesting. If it was true story, I'm very interested. If it was a movie, not as much. Based on true story, more interested than less interested. Thank you, Robert, though. DJ Cogdill says, you should try to have Ryan Dawson on. He knows a lot about Civil War and the wars in the Middle East and other various issues. He's not necessarily pro-Trump, but he prefers him to Biden. All right, I like that. It's fine not to be pro-Trump. It's not like that's what my show's about. I would like all sides of the aisle to really discuss and get to the heart of the matter. So I don't know who that is. Maybe I'll check it out. Thank you. Colostomy Baguette says, sending you love today. Thank you very much, Baguette. Appreciate you. Byron Banks says, when are you going ghost hunting with Tom McDonald? That's funny you should ask. So last night I was perusing Twitter. I'm actually pull this up. Let me see. Check this out. And I found this article, the creepiest place to visit in every state. And I was like, this is cool. Now, I actually have my own little ghost story. I went and explored this old bunker in North Jersey on the Jersey Shore. It's a mortar base where they used to shoot at Navy before planes and whatnot. The Navy reigned supreme. And I swear a ghost laughs at me. And you can actually check this out on my private YouTube channel, Adam Crigler. And just type in, this creeped me out. And you'll see there's a ghost you hear laugh at me. Creepy. Anyway, so Tom McDonald has his own ghost story. He just put up a video basically talking about his ghost experience, and it was really cool. And then of course his album Ghost Stories is really good. Shout out to Tom McDonald, awesome music. And so I hit him up. I go, yo,
he's so good.
Yeah, he's so good. I was like, I think we should hit up some of these places and record our ghost stories. And he responded, oh, he said, I'm in. Yes. Very excited, Tom. That is super awesome. So if you don't know who Tom McDonald is, you really should. Hangover Gang, waiting for those new albums. I did order them, but they actually went to the wrong address. I guess I didn't see that it was a different place in Jersey with the old Jersey House address. It went to Jersey City. So whoever did get that, you're welcome, and enjoy those Tom McDonald albums that I bought you. So
you should put it on Twitter to see what haunted stuff is in LA that you and Tom could visit.
Oh yeah, maybe I'll, because he's in LA, maybe I'll go out to LA. Although I don't know, I feel like it would be kind of cool to do some crazy location, but this all just happened. I'm gonna start doing some stuff and seeing what I can find, because that would be really, really dope to have just go explore haunted stuff with Tom McDonald. All right, Mark Robertshaw says, I'm an Aussie, and in 2016 I made a $10 bet and won 50 because of Trump, and I'm glad he has done well improving America despite the hatred towards him. Me too, Mark, me too. Mark again says, CCP is preparing for civil war. It's a disaster. Yeah, that does remind me about, I forget who said it. There was a whistleblower that came out saying that there's a huge group in China that is going against the CCP, trying to create a new regime. Really crazy stuff. I don't know too much about it. So, Sejong the Great says, Adam, check your Twitter for a salty pic. All right, I will. Thank you. Mark Robershaw says, they don't see Trump supporters as humans, though. That's really sad because I see all people as humans. Like, come on. Mark Robershaw again says, therefore, it wasn't murder. Oh, I see what you did there. Yeah, still fairly messed up, though, right? All right. Again, all right, here we go. Mikey says, hello, Adam. If he had any security training, he would have properly used escalation of force. You do not reach for a pistol after a slap. Exactly right. 100% agree with you. Lisa Lightrider says, great job with your show so far. Keep it up. Thumbs up. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Mark Robershaw, Salty Bear is an agent of the pool. No, he's not. Or are you? I don't know. I don't think so. Mark Robershaw says Salty Bear equals another version of Ian. Maybe. I don't know. Mark again says, is Lydia female Ian? Is everyone Ian? I am certainly not Ian. Shun says, I
don't think I'm Ian.
You've heard it here. You heard it here. He's not Ian. Shun says, hey, Adam, did you check out the earthquake forecast YouTuber I sent over at Discord? Fascinating stuff. It explains why sometimes fires happen. I didn't see that, but I'll look for it. Thank you. And shout out to my Discord, too, because I have some really cool mods and an incredible group of people that all hang out and actually help me find news every day. It's incredibly helpful. So shout out to my Discord, the Adams family. You guys are all really awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, they're all right, especially them mods. What is it? Cell and that other guy?
Yeah. I saw it. I saw it in Cell.
I wanted to make him sweat.
Let's see. Mark Robershaw says, and I don't take any form of drugs, I think. Mark Robershaw with the super chats. He's got a few here, so I'll just read them. Nancy is a T-800 and Trump is John Connor. I like what you did there. Mark again says, how long have Tim and Lydia been dating? They are not dating. Lydia's married, so I don't know. That whole thing is funny, and Tim has someone also. It's whatever. Anyway, Larry Goddard says Nancy Pelosi is basically an 80-year-old face that looks like Mason Verger got 25% off facelift in Mexico.
All right. What's that guy's name?
That's
cool.
Larry Goddard. Thank you for that, Larry. Mark Robershaw says, Adam, you're too old for Biden Bear. Sorry, kids only. Ooh, zing. Let's see.
Yeah.
Mark Robershaw says, Salty Bear plus Fleshlight equals a good time. Oh, gosh. Mark.
Hey, he does not pay me enough for that, right? And that was only once.
Gosh, my goodness. Mark again says, Trump supporters need a T-51 power armor with MAGA. Yeah, maybe. That would be kind of cool. Fallout shout out there. Let's see. Aaron Beringer says, Adam, check out the new Project Veritas videos. It's insane. I saw yesterday that they were posting something today. I haven't gotten into it. I really want to know about it. Now, I does anybody know? What are we? I'm in for a surprise, I'm sure. All right. Larry Goddard again says, one thing that sort of pushed me off of Facebook completely was a picture. Old white guy wearing the MAGA hat, and the caption was, how to spot a racist. That was back in 2016. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Saying what if it was from the Clinton campaign? One of the two Clinton campaigns where they actually used Make America Great Again. Huh? What about that? Were they racist? Are you saying the Clintons were racist? Maybe.
I'd argue,
so stupid.
Though,
not you, Larry, the Facebook people.
And I'd argue that, sometimes you need to talk to those people because they don't listen, right?
That's a good point.
That sometimes I think retreating from those platforms ultimately defeats your purpose, right? If you believe in the things that you want, you kind of have to stand up for them, and it's hard.
Yep, true that. Nick Bravo says, props to Lydia for voicing Salty Bear. Gosh, is that who you think that is? No, it's Salty Bear. Are you offended, sir? I am very sorry.
I am offended.
Nick Bravo, how dare you, sir?
Nick,
how dare you?
You're in the penalty box.
I'm going to spin the UFO for Salty. Not you, Salty. This is specifically for Salty. Close your eyes, chat.
Aww.
Nobody look.
Nobody watch. Nobody watch. This is for me.
This is not for anybody else.
Stare into my eyes.
Don't look at it. Okay, I'm going to remove my hand. Don't look at it. All right. No. I see you looking at it. Whoa. All right, fine. Hey, chat, I can't stop the internet.
Yeah.
All right. Larry Goddard again says, sister-in-law yelled at me last night. Our family was together. She claims Trump is basically Maduro. I showed her a Kamala calling Biden a rapist and a racist. It was a debate. It was a debate. Oh, gosh. And cue the condescending smile that doesn't matter what I say, I'm right. That's, God, I freaking hate that smile. Ugh. Shun says, Dems clearly want to gain power and F this country up. I can't stress enough to everyone to go and vote in person and dig into who your candidates are. Yes. Shun. Yeah. I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you for that. Jose Navarro says, Adam, please watch the latest Pelosi Wolf Blitzer interview. Wolf actually drags her through the mud for not signing the stimulus bill. A meltdown occurs. Oh, that's juicy. I definitely will absolutely check that out after the show. Thank you. Hold on, I don't want to miss that. I'm gonna copy pasta that over into a new window so I can watch that juiciness afterward. Vash says, get the real Salty on your show. I will, actually. I have spoken to them and they're down. The real Salty. That would be cool to have them on. Larry Goddard said, already voted for you 37 times, Salty Bear. It's okay, I live in a blue state. FYI, Thanksgiving is going to be fun this year. Family fights incoming. Oh, great, my goodness. And Larry became a member. Bing, 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 bing.
Oh, Larry.
Come on, why aren't you binging?
Make sure to have... Ding, 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 ding. Make sure to have your dead relatives vote as well.
Yeah, goodness. Josh and Jesus says, breaking, all charges dropped against Kyle Rittenhouse. Okay, wait a minute. Are you playing me or is that true? Because that's crazy.
Checking.
If that can you look that up?
Yeah, I'm checking.
Oh my goodness. If that's true, that's nuts. Wow. Antonio Galvin says, hey Adam.
It's real. Oh my goodness.
Are you serious?
Right now. I think, hold on. I'm sending it to you now.
Whoa. Pending investigation. What? No way. I'm going to pull this up right now so we can all see this. Check this out.
Breaking news, everybody.
Lake County prosecutors announced that they will not file charges against Kyle Rittenhouse. Wow. This is huge. This is crazy. Lake County prosecutors said that the gun Kyle Rittenhouse used in the Kenosha shooting was bought and stored and used in Wisconsin. No charges will be filed against him in Lake County. My goodness, this is crazy. Rittenhouse, 17, of Antioch, is facing charges in Wisconsin of first-degree intentional homicide, 2 counts of first-degree reckless endangerment, endangering safety, first-degree reckless homicide, intentional homicide, and possession of a dangerous weapon by a person under 18. The Lake County State's Attorney's Office announced Tuesday that an extensive investigation by the Antioch Police Department. The investigation revealed the gun used in the Kenosha shooting was purchased, stored, and used in Wisconsin. The Lake County State's Attorney's Office reviewed the investigation and determined no crimes were committed in Lake County. Prosecutors said there is no evidence the gun was ever physically possessed by Rittenhouse in Illinois. Wow. I want to thank the Antioch Police Department for their diligence in investigating this matter. Lake County State's Attorney Michael Nurum said there was no additional details regarding the investigation will be released as to not disrupt the case in Wisconsin. Rittenhouse remains held in Depke Juvenile Complex Center in Vernon Hills without bond on his Kenosha charges. Rittenhouse, whose lawyers are fighting his extradition to Wisconsin, is due back in Lake County Court on October 30th for an extradition hearing. Wow, insane. This is crazy. All right, so not all charges have been dropped. That's what it seems.
No.
They're just dropping the charges. Right. They're
It's
dropping
part of
charges
them.
in some of them, in some places. Yeah, yeah. So now I don't have enough time. Unfortunately, we only got 5 more minutes, so I'm gonna continue on with the super chats. But that is crazy. I felt like I had to read some of that. All right, let's see, where was I? Antonio Galvin says, "Hey Adam, Tim is off. Just keep doing you." Oh wait, is oh, so wait, do I not have to? Oh,
I'm good
that's
to go.
well. I mean, okay, I see a couple people in chat are actually talking about how, yes, so he is actually not going live tonight, so I can continue on. All right, let me bounce.
12-hour show, chat.
Oh my gosh, no! What are you doing? All right, so I'm gonna keep reading about this because this is really interesting.
Yeah.
Let's see, where was I? So I kind of just scrolled a little bit to just read.
The following is probable cause statement. So his extradition hearing on October 30th.
Yeah, I just said that. His lawyers have said that they are concerned with Rittenhouse's safety if he were to be extradited to Wisconsin. Rittenhouse is accused of shooting and killing Joseph Rosenbaum, 36, Anthony Huber, 26, on August 25th near 63rd Street and Sheridan Road in Kenosha. The following is a problematic cause statement by prosecutors based on information received from several police detectives with the Kenosha Police Department. On August 25th, approximately 11:45 p.m., a shooting occurred at Car Source, which is located at the northwest corner of 63rd Street and Sheridan Road in the city and county of Kenosha, state of Washington. The man who was shot at this location was identified as Joseph Rosenbaum. Rosenbaum was transported to a local hospital where the hospitals declared him to be deceased at 12:47, August 26th. In the course of the investigation of the incident, law enforcement reviewed and shared with your complainant prosecutors multiple videos that appeared to be recorded on cell phones. In the first video, a male who later identified to be Kyle Rittenhouse, after the defendant, is running southwest across the eastern portion of the Car Source parking lot. The defendant is a resident of Antioch, Illinois. The defender can clearly be seen holding a gun, which was later recovered by law enforcement and identified as a Smith & Wesson AR-15 style .22-3 rifle. The recovered magazine for this rifle holds 30 rounds of ammunition. Following the defendant is Rosenbaum, and trailing behind the defendant and Rosenbaum is a male who later identified as Richard McGinnis, a reporter. The video shows that they cross the parking lot. Rosenbaum appears to throw an object at the defendant, and the object does not hit the defendant. And the second video shows, based on the object, where that landed, it was a plastic bag. Rosenbaum appeared to be unarmed for the duration of this video. Now, I actually did a video about what happened. So I'm assuming that this is going to continue talking about everything that was going on. So I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead because I'm fairly certain everyone has known about this. And, it's kind of, I don't know, it's not new what happened, so I kind of want to, it feels like they're just kind of rehashing everything to make it seem like a, fill out the article. So I don't want to just,
Yeah.
So here,
I think you're right.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You go ahead.
I think what it's stating is basically that part of the charges against him in Lake County have been dropped, right? So that means that the big question here is now if the extradition is going to happen. And has that ever really happened to an American citizen within another state? Like, I've never heard of that. I'm sure it has.
Don't know.
I'm not a lawyer.
You know
right?
who I would ask in this situation? Tim, because he would probably know that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's a really good question. And they're saying that they are fearful to extradite him for him getting hurt.
Yeah, I mean, he's a kid. He's 17.
17.
Yeah,
17
he's
years
a kid,
old. Yep.
Right? Like, he has the ability to. I hate it. Is like sometimes people make mistakes, and I don't even know if this was one, but.
I mean, have you seen the videos?
Like, that kid doesn't deserve to die.
Have you seen the videos?
I stayed away from it, honestly.
I watched them. I mean, I was, I keep my ear to the ground. I watch the news. I see what's happening. So this was, I mean, it was a shame, but they were beating him with a skateboard, and there was another guy with a gun in his hand that was running at him. It's like those two people got shot. This other guy had been antagonizing him for a while at this car lot and came after him. It's like, okay, he threw it was a bag, but also he kind of came at him. So I don't it's again, it's all up in the air right now. There's still all these charges are pending. They're not. It's not. He's not officially. It's pending, so we don't know exactly what's going to happen with Kyle. But the fact that they've now gone, the Lake County Police Department is going, well, we're going to drop all charges because he didn't do anything wrong here.
Yeah.
We'll continue.
I mean, that's a good. I think that, ultimately, it's going to be one of the most important cases of this year, and we'll find out.
So. Yeah, I think so. I think you're absolutely right. So that's really interesting. So thanks for that super chat, Josh, because that led to us, reading some of this information. It's going to be really interesting. All right, let's move on. Captain Remington says, "We love you, Adam. Keep up the good work." Thank you very much, Captain. Appreciate that. Mr. Squiggles, opinion on Trump's whistleblower retweet earlier today. Biden, Obama killing SEAL Team 6. I did see that. It's not really surprising, to be honest. I mean, I don't know the validity of it. So if it's, the president retweeted it. It seems like it's awfully.
It's pretty wild.
I'm just finding
that's a
out.
Show in itself.
Yeah, I agree. Like I could probably do a segment on that whole thing. It's crazy. It's not really surprising. That administration are just not. They're really. They were terrible from what I've grown to understand as I've learned more and more about the political realm. I had no idea. I honestly feel like I'm just learning how politics work this year because I'm actually paying attention for the first time in my life.
Yeah. Well, it has to start somewhere too. Like it
Absolutely.
started somewhere for me as well. Like I suddenly woke up one day and was like, wow, I'm really dumb. Like I don't know anything.
Oh, that's funny.
Admitting to yourself it's your first step. It's at least a small bear.
Yeah. Well, good for you. I'm proud of you, Bear. Good old Salty over there. Gerald Armstrong says, I hate to have you need to have this guy on, but you should have Red Eagle Politics on. He's very knowledgeable with polls and what they mean. I don't know anything about him. I don't know who he is. But if you can get in contact with him and let him know, tell him to reach out. And if you would like to reach out, you can actually go to my webpage, which I think I have up somewhere. Do I have it up? I don't, but I can. Let me just pull it up real quick.
Tell it to the people
so you can actually,
in at home.
You can go to my website, adamcrigler.net, just my full name, ADAMCRIGLER.net. And it's just this website that Nisha put together for me. It's really cool. It's got this awesome, floating asteroid passing what looks like a moon. I love that. It's pretty fantastic. But it also has my email address. You can hit me up. It's adamcastirl@gmail.com. You can send me some emails if you want to get in touch with me. You can also go to my website here to donate to me directly, or you can also give me some Bitcoins if you want. I learned all about Bitcoins yesterday, and going to try to get a hold of some of those. And you can also send me mail. I have a P.O. box, so there's my P.O. box there. And if you want to send me things, I'm going to be building a shelf here, and I'll have a wide shot. So I haven't really worked out the details of what my studio here is gonna be, but I tend to, I like to maybe switch things up a little bit too, and it's fun.
Can I get a chair instead of a shelf again, please?
Okay, maybe Salty will get an official chair. Sure, Salty.
Thank you.
Don't be salty, but I got you. I got you covered. All right. Ooh, I just had a super chat jump. Let me just find out where I was. Here we go. Robert Wiles says, no, it's not you. Wouldn't want it to be. Trust me, it was a bad virus. It almost wipes all out. Wow. Interesting. All right. But was it a movie or was it a true story? No, it's not true then. Okay. All right. So it's not a true story. Okay. Cool. Yeah, well, maybe I'll check it out then. Blue Dragon, hey, what's good? Says, yo, Adam, just wanted to let you know Tim isn't doing a show tonight, so no need to hurry. Also, smash a like button, fam. Thank you, Blue Dragon. Smash. Say it again. You heard the man. Smash. I'm gonna spin this. This is for you, Blue, and for everyone that just smashed that like button. This spin is for you.
Oh yeah.
I'm so happy I still have this UFO. I'm so connected to this UFO.
Too.
I love spinning this. I love spinning it for you, and even for me. I spin it sometimes by myself. I'm just like, what up,
We
UFO?
need to get a Tic Tac UFO next.
A Tic Tac UFO? I don't even know what that means.
Oh,
All right.
it's those flying.
Let's see. Brian says, great co-host. Trumpy Bear needs a Twitter account. Yep. Yeah, maybe you should get one. Let's see. Coop says the Kyle charges were only dropped in Illinois, not Wisconsin. Yeah, right. Exactly. That's we did talk about that. Yeah. So it's like all the charges in Wisconsin are still pending because, you know, he did shoot people, and 2 people did die. So, but just in Illinois, because, you know, the gun was just registered in Wisconsin and was never in Illinois. So Illinois said, well, we're good. We're going to wash our hands of this. Ryan E. said, Project Veritas just dropped a video on a left militia openly talking about committing violence this election. Is that what it's about? Oh my goodness. That would have been perfect for today's episode because that's exactly what it is. Intimidation. We Americans deserve the right to vote without intimidation. And that is exactly what they're doing. They are trying to intimidate us to not go vote. I cannot wait to go vote. I can't wait. I'll tell you that.
Well, here's the thing, and if they force another crisis like there was in 1876, then like this does not go well for Democrats.
That's true.
Right? Like
you're right.
It was sort of like a compromise before, but now I don't know if it will be.
Yep. No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
I guess it depends who wins.
Antonio, go vote. Antonio Galvin says 12-hour stream, and then a bunch of laugh emojis. No, don't wish that on me. Mysticism became a disciple. Thank you so much. Very appreciative of that. Bing, 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 bing,
bing, bing, bing, bing, bing, bing, bing.
And you know what? I'm gonna do a little bit of a spin too, because that's a little bit higher than just being a member. So a member. So thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Like subscribers.
What's
double. That? You know, Salty like subscribers double than, you know, normal super chats.
Okay. No, all right. Well, let's give Salty what he wants. Larry Goddard again says, reminder that it's only $4.99 to become a member of the Jam Session Mafia. Thank you very much. That's true. You can and I should actually start putting my jam sessions just for members. Maybe I'll do that. You know what? I am going to do that. I'm going to take all the jams that I've ever done and just cut them and put them separately, just for the members. If you're not a member, you could go dig and find my Friday episodes, but you know, we'll split them up for you just to make it nicer for you. Caveman says, hey Adam, keep up the amazing work, brother. You and Tim are my favorite reporters in YouTube. Keep hammering, brother. I will. Thank you very much, Caveman. Appreciate that. I have a feeling you already smashed the like button, but if you haven't, smash. Oh yeah, smash. Oh yeah, smash it. Have Tome says, Adam, is Tim actually not doing IRL tonight? I guess not. I don't know. I don't have any idea what's going on with them. I know that they've gotten a lot of flack from bringing on the leader of Proud Boys on the show. They had him on yesterday, so I don't know. It's spicy. Let's see. My goodness, they're keep super chatting me. I love you guys. Let's see. Sejong the Great says, big oof. Hunter Biden business partner had his judgment overturned and is going to prison for fraud. I heard about that. You're right. Biden is free for now, but he's been named in the trial multiple times. Investigation, dirty money. Sejong, I'm on the same page with you, man. I'm watching it. Yep, he was named, and this is pretty big, you know, because Joe Biden has consistently been like, my son Hunter has done nothing wrong. There's no collusion. They're all fake. It's all BS.
When did President Trump, when was he shown to be under investigation? Like, was he under investigation before the presidency at all?
Yep.
Was there suspicion?
Yes. Before he was elected, Hillary Clinton, they have her that they've proven that she was colluding to put the DNC hack that did happen, okay? That she wanted to blame Trump for it and spin this whole thing that Trump was working with Russia. Now they've disproven that. Say it again.
For the DNC hack? She was trying to blame Trump for the DNC hack?
Yes. And the Obama-Biden administration knew about it. And Biden okayed it. Was like, yeah, sure, we got to stop him. Now, he didn't say that verbatim, but...
Is VP, right? I mean...
It's crazy.
But that means, I mean, that implicates Obama, correct?
Absolutely. He was in the room. Yep.
Wow.
What's going to
Well, this
happen?
will be an interesting
Nothing's
month.
going to happen to Biden. Nothing. It's crazy. All right, let's move on. Where was I? Sorry. Awoke, not woke. Awake, not woke, says, absolutely loved the show tonight, brother. You went extra hard in the paint with the topics. Awesome commentary, very engaging, and overall loved it. Thank you so much, Awake. Appreciate that. Yeah, it was, man, a lot of interesting stuff we went over today, you know, because that, especially that contested election thing, you know, it already happened. It's happened before, and it's very interesting how much it was about race. It was such a huge time in America when we got rid of slavery, and the South was fighting it, and they said, we're gonna say it again. What?
The parallels are uncanny.
It's insane. You're right. The parallels are uncanny. It's incredible. So, and thank you for saying that, Awake. Appreciate that. Gerard Armstrong says, Red Eagle Politics is a good dude. I actually name dropped you on his last live stream. Oh, thank you very much. I definitely appreciate that. Thanks. Awesome. I appreciate it.
Good work.
I'm gonna check it out myself.
Yeah, and the more people that do that, the better.
Yeah.
You know,
thank you so much, everyone.
Get stuck with stuffed bears.
All right, let's see. Where were we? Sejong the Great again says, Adam, did you see Mars last night? Tonight is peak viewing for Mars, closest until like 2035. Whoa, very cool. And I live out in the middle of nowhere now, so the skies are super dark. Although it was raining yesterday and it was a little drizzly earlier, so hopefully the skies will be clear. Let's see. Mark Robertshaw says, what were we going to say?
Do you have a telescope?
I don't, but I am interested in getting one.
Maybe somebody should send Adam a telescope if they got one lying around.
I mean, I would not be opposed to that. If you want to send me a telescope, there's my P.O. box. No pressure, though. No pressure, but it would be pretty cool. Let's see. Mark Robertshaw says, Tim never touched the UFO like you do. Yeah.
It's true. You do have that magic touch to get it back on there.
He's right, you know. I'll give it to Tim. He can get that UFO on there fairly well, but I've learned the ways. Thank you, Mark. Dark Fox says, Project Veritas released a video of a leftist saying he would do whatever it takes to kill Nazis. And their definition of what a Nazi is literally anyone who disagrees with them now. That's it. That's what they've basically said. Say it again.
Anyone who disagrees with me is a Nazi.
Yep, that's it. Superman, if he wasn't scared of green rocks, what's good? Says, idea maybe? Why not watch the Veritas video live? Tim is not going to be on. Spin that UFO and smash the like button. Yeah, I can't do that because I'm pretty sure that is not okay with copyright. Honestly, I actually don't know much about it, so I'm still learning. Let's see. Sejong the Great says, seriously, pull up all your salty pic from Twitter. Salty crew will love the pic I shared. Is it the beer? Is it the beer picture that you? I think I saw a picture of beer or something. Honestly, if that's not it, I can't. I have a lot of I don't know. I can't. Oh, maybe if this is it. I think this must be it. Check this out. Salty crew blonde ale with me in the background. All right, I'm assuming that's you. So I guess I don't know. So that's great. Mark Robershaw says, does Ian Salty Bear game? Well, it's not Ian either. But Salty, you play games? You like games, right? I don't know.
Oh yeah, I love games. I play games. I make games.
You do? Oh
yeah.
We'll have to talk about it. I'm working on a video game too. I want to get that out there. So let's talk after the show. Let's see. Gerald Armstrong says, Adam just sent you Red Eagle's Twitter handle. Thank you very much. Awesome. I'll check it out. I'm on Discord maybe or on Twitter. I'll have to look for it. Mark Robertshaw says, scan and email me a ballot so I can vote too. Nice. No, I cherish my ballot. I will absolutely be voting and sending it off. Let's see. Or actually, I'm not sending it off. I'm going in to vote. Definitely going to vote in person. Casperia says, you need to get Tim on as a guest after he gets his YouTube and Twitter canceled. I know it'll be hard to get in touch with him, but make it happen. Hard to get in touch with him. Ba-doom, right? Because I literally just
Hey-o.
walked to the other side of the house. Yeah, but he actually did say that I could interview him. So he's going to be on my show soon. I am going to have Tim Pool on my show. How good of an episode is that going to be? Oh man. Ooh, I'm looking forward to what people ask.
On the wall for that one.
Are you? Yeah, you literally will, because
Yeah.
you're going to be on a
chair,
seat
please.
in a seat.
Just, thank you.
Anyway, frog boogers. Okay, I gotta just say, I love your name, frog boogers. That caught me off guard. Very nice. Let's see what Frog Burger says. Love your new show, Adam. What's it take to wear the MAGA beanie on this show? Good question. I haven't actually decided. Salty has actually appropriated my MAGA beanie, but I actually have another beanie that someone sent to me from the early days of Timcast IRL. I've never worn it, but I've got it right here.
Too.
Check this out. I said this one day. I said, I like Make America Greater because I feel like we're pretty great. I love this country, and I think this country is pretty awesome. So Make America Great Again, it feels like it's lessening how great we are, and I think we're pretty great.
What about national rejuvenation?
No, that's some weird CCP stuff. What are you talking about, Salty? Get out of here. Thank you, Frog Boogers. I love your name. That's great. I guess to answer your question, what does it take to wear the MAGA beanie again? I'll go with a humble 10,000 likes. We had it up to 50,000 likes the last episode, or maybe it was 40,000 likes to wear the beanie. But we had memories. It's hard to think about, honestly. So it's a little sad. I miss being on that show. Kalatik says, still doing deep dives. May I suggest Woodrow Wilson, the actual worst president in U.S. history? That's a good idea. I like it. Deep dives I definitely am still doing deep dives. It's just been kind of hectic lately because I've moving to a new spot here. I am now moved, but I actually never officially moved to the Jersey place. I still have all my stuff in other places in the country, so I'm still trying to figure that out while also maintaining doing this daily show, while doing guests and everything. It's been rather hectic. So, and then also just taking some time to decompress a little bit. So deep dives are coming. I'm gonna work on them, and we'll definitely be rolling them out. I do like that Woodrow Wilson because I don't know much about him at all, so we will.
Did you know that his frailty actually led to constitutional changes?
Really?
His health problems? Yeah.
Really? How so?
Yeah. He was partially incapacitated, but he remained in office, and the 25th Amendment, which we're hearing about. Yeah. Ratified in 1967, allowed for constitutional measures to deal with temporary or permanent incapacity of the president in office. Sound familiar?
Yeah, it does. Huh. All right, let's see. Larry Goddard again says, sounds like someone high up in Congress has some pretty dirty dirt on Biden, Clinton, and Obama. It sounds like fairly treasonous. I'm going to have to agree with you there, Larry. Yep. And Gerald Armstrong says, I sent it on your Twitter. Forgot to say Red Eagle is on YouTube and Twitter. Right on. I actually have his YouTube page pulled up on another tab. I'll check it out after the show. Thanks. Wake Not Woke again says, take this for the Adams Firearm Fund. I've received 4 ballots, 1 at my high school house, out of state, 2 from an old apartment, and 1 legit one. Crazy. Wow. I have a feeling that I probably have a couple ballots floating around the country too. Geez, because I lived in New York for a long time. I lived in Arizona for a long time. I lived in Chicago. I lived in now Jersey for a short amount of time. I even lived in Miami for a little while when Tim and I first tried to start a YouTube show like 4 or 5 years ago, actually. So Go ahead.
Sorry. You want to hear something crazy?
Sure.
So the idea that we have voting and all of these ballots just out there floating around.
Yeah.
Right. When we have it as a solved problem. Your show yesterday talked about cryptocurrency.
Good point.
Right? Money is the first app on the blockchain. Right. Yep. You know what comes next? decentralized voting platforms that have perfect records.
That's a good point. Taking the power away
Where,
from people trying to mess with it, you know?
yeah,
That's what
like if
the
everyone could vote
the
by,
internet ruined the media. Cryptocurrency is ruining banking, or so
yeah,
not ruining, taking the power away from media, taking the power
usurping.
out of banking, taking the power out of, well, I mean, who controls the voting systems? You know, as like, are you saying the voting systems are corrupt right now? You know, the mail-in voting. I mean, it's a
Oh,
record
100%.
record breaking amount of people mail-in voting right
Well,
now.
if you even look into the machines themselves, right?
Yeah,
The companies that won these no bid contracts are fraught with like intrigue and weird stuff where like if you look at some of those machines, they hold three different types of books depending on who's looking at it, right? Like there's a lot of weird stuff that goes
yeah,
into it. And we have hardware and software solutions, but we are ignoring them because of what we call tradition.
yeah. Oh man. All right, let's keep it going. That one guy says, "Have you read the study? Are election 2020 poll respondents honest about their vote from McLeod Research?" I haven't, but I will check that out after the show. That's definitely something I want to read. Then we got Lucas Parada says, "Might be a toke though. Cheers from Canada. Cheers." Six Semper Tyrannis says, "Check out that SAO season 3 on Netflix. Basis of story deals with authoritarian under the guise of religion versus free will fighting against machine." Pretty sure someone watching TP, Tim Pool, I'm assuming, talk about Dem cultists. Geez, SAO, what does that stand for? Do you know what that is? SAO season
Uh,
3?
I'll look it up. No, I've never heard of it. SAO, Stargate? SAO.
No, I don't know what SAO is. Chat, what is
Sword
SAO?
Art Online.
Sword art?
It's anime.
Oh, anime.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
cool. I'll check it out. Sejong says, again, as I've said before, I've already voted early and in person. If you get your mail-in vote, hold it and keep it in case you're summoned for voter fraud, blank, and in your hands. Ah, interesting.
Interesting. That's a
Wow.
really good. That's great advice.
If
That's
I do
something that
get
you
it.
should get. That's actually something that could be trending powerful, right? Like if
Yeah,
you now get them and if enough people hold on to them, you have a class action lawsuit,
good point.
right? Whether or not somebody calls foul or not, like
Yeah.
a bunch of people could get together and be like, we have these, we know there's something weird, and then you sue the government.
Yep, that's a good point. Awesome. Well, everyone, that's been my show. Thank you very much. I know that Salty wants to go for a full 12 hours, but we're gonna cut it now. I did go a little bit over, but I guess Timcast IRL is not happening tonight, so I don't feel as bad cutting it at 8. Thank you for joining me. Really appreciate that. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe below. You can click the subscribe button. You can also become a member to support me. Hit that notification bell so you know when I go live, which is 6:30 Monday through Friday, weekdays, and I do about an hour and a half show talking about different segments of what's happening during the week. Tomorrow night, I'm going to have a vegan nutritionist join me, and we're going to be talking about being vegan, what kind of nutrients the human body needs, what that is. We're going to talk about veganism and all that kind of good stuff. It's going to be a really interesting episode. Then on Thursday, I have Anomaly, who is also a YouTuber, online personality. He's going to be joining me. We're going to talk about what he does, his political views, what he thinks about the whole political environment right now. And it's going to be fun. And then, of course, Friday night, we do my jam session. Maybe I'll convince Nishra to bring a piano in here so she can play some of her songs. But thanks for joining us. And Salty, thank you for joining me tonight. I had a great time with you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course. And then, of course, you can catch me on my Twitch channel. I go on at around 10 p.m., usually after the Timcast show. Maybe I'll start a little earlier tonight. But either way, thank you very much, and I will see you all next time. Have a good night.